बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami,
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami,
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami,
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami,
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami,
Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham.
So very good evening to everyone. So today is the second day of our Dharma program. And with this, respected Venerable Bhikkhus and Venerable Bhikkhunis, Upasakas and Upasikas, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, and friends. So the Dhamma program is going to start, and we invite you to turn on your camera and maybe have your attention. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, and Namo Sanghaya. Wherever you are in the world, a very good evening and also a very good morning. So respected Venerable Bhikkhuni Tantini Terry, Mahateri, the Chief Dhamma Program Coordinator of the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International Dhamma Program, Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda Terry, and also to all Venerable Bhikkhus, Venerable Bhikkhunis, Upasakas and Upasikas, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, and friends around the world. I'm Bhikkhuni Sumangala, your moderator today, and it's my honor to welcome all of you to the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International Dhamma Program, in short, UTBSI Dhamma Program. And to all our participants who just joined us today, the Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International is presenting you a 7 days Dharma program entitled The Pillar, Strength and Liberation in commemoration of Venerable Bhikkhuni Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Parinibbāna Day. And today is our second program, and the title for today's Dhamma talk is Garudama. And firstly, we'd like to seek your attention that today the topic that we have scheduled is Mother of Bhikkhunis. And today we have a swap as our presenter, Venerable Liupa, has to be excused because she's having a heavy cough. So we have kindly invited Venerable Dhammananda to present her presentation today. So the topic today is Garudama, or Code of Reverence. So we are thankful to all the organizers, and also gratitude to our speaker for kindly come in this time of unity here, so that we'll be able to still continue to present to you the Dhamma for the well-being of the many. And we also thank all the audience for taking time to join us and in this Dhamma series. And let us be inspired by the Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni Sangha of the past and the present. And may we all follow the footsteps of the Buddha and be well, safe, and find peace. So in this series of Dhamma talk, there are more that we can learn and be inspired for our good practice here. So stay tuned to the UTBSI 7 days Dhamma program. And we hope that our Dhamma brothers and sisters will remain attentive in this Dhamma event. And we also seek your understanding to remain calm and patient if there's any internet line interruption. And for the Dhamma talk, if you wish to thank and give words of encouragement or have any question, kindly write to the host and mention your name. Relevant questions to the topic will be addressed at the end of the talk. So do also support us by subscribe to our UTBSI YouTube channel and like. So this month is a month full of blessings. And for the Bhikkhuni Sangha, this is especially for the gathering of the noble Bhikkhuni Arahants and their Parinibbāna after taking permission from the Buddha. They have accomplished what can be accomplished as a woman, as a mother, as a Bhikkhuni, and as an Arahant. So this is the greatness of the Buddha's teaching and the Sangha, and especially the Fourfold Assembly. Would I like to share with you in Majjhima Nikaya 73, there are questions here asked from Vachakota, and he asked in this way: if Master Gotama was the only one to succeed in this teaching, in this dispensation, not any bhikkhu monks, then this spiritual path would be incomplete in that respect. But because both Master Gotama and monks have succeeded in this teaching, this spiritual path is complete in that respect. Again, he asked, if Master Gotama and the monks were the only ones to succeed in this teaching, not any bhikkhuni nuns, then this spiritual path would be incomplete in that respect. But because Master Gotama, bhikkhu monks, bhikkhuni nuns, upasakas and upasikas, and they have all succeeded in this teaching, this spiritual path is complete in that respect. Therefore, the great initiative of the Fourfold Sangha is complete for the prolongation of the Buddha Sasana. By respecting the Sangha, the bhikkhu and bhikkhuni, the order of the Buddha's disciples, will continue to live for a long time. So yesterday, the most venerable P. Sivali Mahathero has aptly said, the revival of Bhikkhuni Sangha in the 20th century since 1996 is indeed a great tribute to the Buddha. It is also a great tribute to the Venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotama Mahatheri, reviving the lost glory. The Fourfold Assembly is a strength and stability of the Buddha Sasana. So to begin with our program, we'd like to now invite Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini Mahateri to lead us in taking the refuge in the Triple Gem, followed by the Agasavika Vandana. So please also follow in the chanting, and may we now invite Ayah Santini to lead us.
Venerable sisters and brothers, ladies and gentlemen, let us chant together. Araham Sam. Wait, please. Wait, please.
So apology.
Parinibbāna Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Parinibbāna Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Jaya Parinibbāna Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samīci Parinibbāna Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadida Purisa Yuga Anta Purisa Punggala Desa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahureyo Hireyo Anjalikaraniyo Anuttara Punyakhetang Lokasam
Sadhu, sadhu. We sincerely seek everyone's apology, and because of the interruption on the internet line. So we hope that all of us can practice calm and patience with technology. It can link us, and at the same time, sometimes it's also anicca. Yeah. So we hope that everybody have chanted from your heart and to reflect your refuge in the Triple Gem, and also our sincere, faithful refuge in Triple Gem, and to make it a good practice. And may we continue to make good wishes that we have a stable internet line, and wishing that today's program also will be meaningful and fruitful for everyone. So before we start with the Dharma talk, again, we would like to present you a teaser of reflection on the life story of Venerable Bhikkhuni Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahāteri, part 2 of 7. Yeah. So let us also sit back and relax, and also watch and find out the key attributes and the importance of right association, importance of offerings, importance of doing good in life after life, and also in completion of the noble aspiration in our life. So may we now show you the video on the upper line.
Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri Apadana.
I was reborn in the Tawatimsa Dewa realm, and I surpassed all others in the 10 attributes. Forms, sounds, smells, tastes, tangible objects, longevity, complexion, training, and fame. In this way, I excelled in authority. I was brilliant. I was the beloved queen of the king of the immortal there. I journeyed on in continued existences, moving on by the wind of past actions, and I was born during the realm of King Kasi in a servant village. Exactly 500 servants lived there at that time. I became the wife of the eldest one of them all. The 500 self-dependent ones, or Pachika Buddhas, entered the village on their arms round. Seeing them, all the women and I were pleased. Of triple robes. Then we journeyed on with our husbands. Then, passing away, we all went to the Tawatimsa realm. Now, in our final existence, I was born in the town of Dewa Daha. My father was Ajana Saka and my mother was Sulakana. Then I went to the home of Sudodana in Kapilawatu as his wife. The others were born in the Sakyan clan and came to the home of the Sakyans. I'm the most eminent of them all. I'm the foster mother of the conqueror. My son, having gone forth, became the Buddha, the leader. After that, I went forth with the 500 women. And together with those wise Sakyan women, I attained peace and happiness. Those who were our husbands in our previous birth, having done meritorious deeds together with us, being performers of the great doctrine, attained arahatship through the compassion of the Sublime One.
So that's a teaser for tonight's recollection on the life story of Venerable Bhikkhuni Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahāteri. I think there are a few important points that we can reflect in the way how a person from one life to another life have made that kind of aspiration and good deeds, and also the association with the Buddha and the Pacceka Buddhas, and in one life that she has completed her journey, and fulfill what needs to be fulfilled. So we can actually gain some inspiration from the video, from the stories, and so for our good reflection, and also for today's journey with the topic of Garudama. So may we now invite Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda Mahāteri. And first, we'd like to introduce you to Venerable. So Venerable Dhammananda Theri is a well-known Theri in Thailand and also in the world. And she was born in 1944 to Waromai Kabil Singh and Kokiat Satsena. Her mother, Waromai, was ordained as a bhikkhuni in 1971 as the first modern Thai bhikkhuni who started Songdhamma Kalyani, which means temple where women uphold the Dharma. Next slide, please. So Venerable received her BA in philosophy from Visva-Bharati University, her MA in religion from McMaster University in Canada, and her PhD in Buddhism from Magadh University in India. She taught for 27 years at Thammasat University in Bangkok, Thailand, in the Department of Philosophy and Religion. She is a well-known author of many books on contemporary issues in Asian Buddhism. Many were published before her ordination and are under her birth name, Dr. Chatsuman Kabil Singh. In 2003, she was ordained a full bhikkhuni in Sri Lanka, the first Thai woman to be ordained in a Theravada monastic lineage as Dhammananda. She currently resides at the Songdhamma Kalyani Monastery, Thailand. Since her ordination, the Venerable has written more than 100 books designed to educate the public about various issues related to Thai Buddhism, including the place of women. In 2014, Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni Theri was appointed as Pavatini by a Sri Lankan preceptor during a group ordination for women monks in Songkhla, Thailand. In the development of Bhikkhuni Sangha in the world, Venerable Bhikkhuni Dhammananda Theri has played a vital role as a Pavatini, Kamavachacharini, and Bhikkhuni Upasampada witness. So, in the past, Venerable has highlighted these very important things. Yeah? She said, I do not choose to be ordained because I want people to recognize me. I did it because I want to carry on the heritage of the Lord Buddha. And I'm trying to revive the 4 pillars of Buddhism, bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, laymen, and laywomen that will sustain the religion into the future. So tonight, we're very grateful and we humbly invite Venerable Dhammananda Theri to share with us the importance of Garudama from the Compassionate Buddha. So may I now invite Venerable, please. Over to you, Venerable.
Thank you so much. Greetings to Mahasangha and also our fourfold Buddhist communities. I think today we have fourfold Buddhist communities. And because we are in the, paying respect to Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, who was the first bhikkhuni and who actually started this lineage for us. I pay respect to her. Ratan yunang bhikkhuni nang Gotamī chinnamatucha tapita katha namhi satha soting garotunu. We actually have 13 of them to pay respect, but within this short period of time, I would like to just pay respect to Mahāpajāpatī Theri. I asked them for water. Suddenly my throat is dry. I am very happy, particularly today, to fill in the gap that the 2 venerables were very worried what to do. We as bhikkhunis, we have been helping each other from the start. When we start the bhikkhuni lineage in each country in Theravada Buddhism, I was alone. Venerable Santini in Indonesia, 4 of you, Venerable Liufak, we always lend hands, when something is missing, something is lacking, we always have been supporting of our bhikkhuni sisters. And again today, I'm very happy to fill in the gap. I should be coming in tomorrow, but nevertheless, I am here tonight. And if they need me to speak tonight, I'm very happy. But I have prepared the video. So we shall look at the video together and I will be with you again to answer questions towards the end. Yes. May we have the screen, please? Greetings to Mahasangha. My particular respect to Venerable Bhante Sivali. I'm very happy to be part of this UTBSI program, which Venerable Santini of Indonesia is organizing it. This is the 3rd day of the conference, of the meeting, and today I would like to focus on looking again or understanding the 8 Garudamas. I need to give you the context of the 8 Garudama. We, in the Theravada tradition, we follow the Pali text, we follow the Tripitaka. And within the Tripitaka, the part that we are reading is from the Vinaya, particularly Culavaka. And here in this Culavaka, in the what you call Gotamī Vatu, it gives details of how Venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, who was the Buddha's birth aunt and also stepmother, how after the death of King Suddhodana, she approached the Buddha and asked to follow him on the monastic life. Please remember also, at the time when King Suddhodana was very ill, the Buddha traveled all the way to Kapilavastu to see his father. And by his bedside, it was the princess, the queen Mahāpajāpatī, who actually was always there attending to her royal husband. And when the Buddha gave Dharma talk to his father, the queen was always there. So we know that towards the end, before the king passed away, the king himself was enlightened, became Arahat, whereas the queen, Mahāpajāpatī, became Sotapanna. This is the information that we read. And now after the cremation of King Suttotana, the Buddha was already preparing with his monks, with his bhikkhus, to go to Vesali. It was at that time that she approached him and asked that she would like to follow him on this monastic lifestyle. And the Buddha refused. The way he refused, we have to read the text. He simply said, "Gotamī, please do not take delight in leading this monastic lifestyle which I have started." 3 times, she asked 3 times. 3 times he replied her in the same way. He did not give the reason why he did not accept her into his order. The queen was very sad. Naturally, she was very sad, and so she left. Also, the Buddha and the Bhikkhu Sangha, the large Bhikkhu Sangha who followed the Buddha, also left for Vesali. Now, from Kapilavastu to Vesali, that is a long distance, you know. It would have taken you many hours by bus, now by bus. But imagine in those days that she walked bare feet. Now the queen had already decided to be ordained, whether or not the Buddha would accept her into his order. So she shaved her head, put on the jivara, the same color that the Buddha was wearing. And now, being the queen, she did not shave her head alone. She had followers, she had her relatives, she had her niece and grandniece, whatever. So, in the commentary, it reported that there were 500 women who came out with her. After putting on the robe, after having shaved their heads, they followed the Buddha. The Buddha went to Vesali. They also went to Vesali on foot. Imagine, on foot. It took them many days. And of course that must have been a very difficult journey for all these women of the palace. By the time finally they arrived in Vesali, the Buddha was staying in Gutakara. Gutakara means the residence with layers of roof like that. In the forest called Mahāvana. They went to the gate, to the entrance, but she did not enter, knowing that she had already been refused 3 times. So imagine this large group of women sitting there weeping, frustrating, not knowing whether the Buddha would accept them or not. So they were crying and weeping, and of course they were in such a state, you know, that the robe were dusty, torn because of the journey, and the feet were bleeding, and they were crying, you know, tears coming down their face. They were in such a sorrowful state. The monks who have seen them must have reported to Venerable Ananda. Venerable Ananda at that time was not yet the Buddha's, was not appointed as someone who actually took care of the Buddha, but he was also related to Mahāpajāpatī, the queen. Now the queen was like his aunt. So Venerable Ananda, with this relatedness to her, so he came to and asked her what was the matter. Why are you in this state? Why are you and these royal women are in there's a difficult state? So the queen told him of their intention. So Venerable Ananda on their behalf approached the Buddha again. Now you have to imagine the venue. It happened like this. Mahāpajāpatī and the group of these ladies were waiting outside the entrance to the residence that the Buddha was staying in Vesali. And whenever Ananda was going back and forth, coming to the ladies, and then he went to the Buddha and asked the Buddha on their behalf. Again, the Buddha said the same thing. Oh, Ananda, do not take delight in allowing women to join the monastic life that the Buddha had already started. So whenever Ananda, in Pali, it is the word in Pali is used pariyayena, going around, using another question, that is to say, when he was requesting the Buddha this way, the Buddha said no. So he was going another way. Asking that the fact that the Buddha did not allow women to be ordained, is it simply because they cannot be enlightened? The Buddha said, no, Ananda, women can be enlightened. Women can be enlightened, they can become sotapanna, they can become anakarika, anakami, arahat, the 4 stages. Satchikatunti, they can see it with their own eyes. So this is such a beautiful statement for me, personally. It is like a golden phrase that when you study the literature of world religions, there was no other religion before this statement of the Buddha that actually recognized the women for their spiritual achievement, for their spiritual attainment. And because of this, because women themselves can be enlightened, the Buddha then said to Ananda, now go and ask her whether she could take this 8 Garudama. Yes, so the 8 Garudama were given in details. We will study together. I think it's important to study together because it now has become much obstacles to women to enter monastic life. When I was in Canada some 30 years ago, among the Western feminists, they really had great objection to this 8 Garudama, particularly the first one, to say that a bhikkhuni, even ordained for 100 years, must always pay respect to a monk who ordained but that day. So right away, they make judgment that Buddhism is very much sexist, very much promoting only men and not women. We have to really take a close look, because we as bhikkhunis in Theravada tradition, we are supposed to take this as our binding. This is what was given in the text. Some temples, I could quote maybe like Pho Guangshan in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, Venerable Master Sing Yun, who is also my master because I received Bodhisattva's precept from him in the year 2000. He has a large number of bhikkhunis in his temple. At that time there were 1,300 monastics with him, and out of this number, 1,000 were bhikkhunis. So he told his bhikkhunis that they can lift up this 8 Garudama. It is not practicable, so to say, not practicable. And I also know another bhikkhuni in Taiwan who also disregard the 8 Garudama altogether. But because we belong to Theravada tradition, we have to follow what has been preserved. And if we believe that this is what has been preserved for us, we should follow with respect. We should follow, and while we study each one of them, we will realize that maybe there are a later interpolation. That doesn't matter if we can follow with respect. How do we follow the 8 Garudama? We have to understand all the monastic rules, in the Patimokkha, all the monastic rules. We have to understand that there are 2 levels, whether you follow the Vinaya according to the words, or whether you follow Vinaya according to the spirit of the rules that was set down by the Buddha. So we have to make distinction of these two, and most of the time when we read the Vinaya, we cannot go at face level. We cannot take it at the words that is recorded. We have to go back into the text to see how this particular prohibition happened. I'm very grateful to Theravada tradition that they have preserved in details of how each one of the rules that we follow, what happened in the history, why the Buddha set down these rules. Buddhism came without any rule, but just monastic lifestyle as people practiced at that time. So the Buddha and his group of monks follow the monastic lifestyle. But then suddenly there is someone who has done something that is not appropriate, not supportive for monastic life. Then that one particular rule is laid down, and we will see that when it is laid down, when it becomes obstacle, it becomes obstruction to the practice, the Buddha again amend that rule, change, shift, make adjustment so that it is practicable for the Sangha. This we have to take into great consideration when we study Vinaya. Yes, and now I will take you through each one of them and to see whether how far we can practice, how far we can follow. The first one, which says that a bhikkhuni even ordained for 100 years, which means that he has seniority, but always have to pay respect for a monk ordained but that day. The most senior bhikkhuni will have to always pay respect to the most junior bhikkhus, so to say. Can I do that? Very, very simple for me. Because in my own practice, I feel that in each one of us, we do have that Buddha nature, and each one of us, we have that potentiality to be enlightened. Even though I may be much older, much more senior to this young monk, who can tell whether he is going to be enlightened before me or not? So with that, I feel humble to pay respect to the monks. And also I have respect because the bhikkhus as a bhikkhu sangha, the bhikkhu sangha came into existence 5 years before the bhikkhuni sangha. So the Buddha had to make us, the bhikkhunis, in a lower status in the sense of a brother and sisters. We have to learn from them. The Buddha he could not make himself available to everyone. So therefore, he will design some of these senior monks to be teaching us, the bhikkhunis. But if the bhikkhunis do not want to pay respect to the bhikkhus, how can he find the bhikkhus to teach us? That is one way of looking at it. And another cultural aspect, this is what I heard from my own mother, Venerable Bhikkhuni Waramai Kabil Singh. She said that it was the queen Mahāpajāpatī who actually entered the monastic sangha, the monastic setting. And of course she was a queen, so she would be able to, she was familiar with telling people what to do, what not to do, and if people do some mistake, she would correct them. So if she came to the sangha with this mentality, she would be teaching the monks, she would be directing the monks, which will not be will not be appropriate for the sangha. She must always remember that now she is the young ones, she is the younger sister into this larger sangha community. The fact that the Buddha gave this rule that the bhikkhuni, whether how old she is, she must always pay respect to the young monk. Can Queen Mahāpajāpatī accept this? If she is able to give up herself, her clinging to self, herself was a queen, can she give up that clinging to that status and join in the sangha? Only when she can, then she will become a proper member of the sangha. So when you look at try to understand this 8 Garudama, I think it's important also to always keep in mind that it was given to the Queen Mahāpajāpatī. Yes. So that is the first one. And now in fact, what happened later, maybe not so long after this, Mahāpajāpatī himself asked the Buddha whether in the Sangha, whether they should pay respect according to seniority. I think this might even come before that first one. It already happened that Mahāpajāpatī herself, the queen herself, felt that these Sangha members should pay respect according to seniority. That is, if a bhikkhuni is older, more senior, she had entered the Sangha before the monks should pay respect to the bhikkhunis. She was asking in this direction, and the Buddha said very clearly, it is not done so. Why? Because the Buddha also respected social norm of that particular society. It is always the women who always have to respect the men. It is always the men. It is a patriarchal society, so we have to keep that in mind. So the Buddha said it is not done. It is not done, and he did not allow this practice. So this confirmed with the first rule that we are looking at it. And now the second Garudama. The second Garudama says that the bhikkhunis must not spend the rain in residence with no bhikkhus. We have to visualize that in those days, these residents they talk about is very much in the forest setting. And if the bhikkhunis should stay alone, completely alone, apart from the bhikkhu Sangha, it is not safe for her. We have many stories that how the bhikkhunis were raped, how they were exploited by the men from outside. Outsider, that is, they are not even Buddhist. And also even among the Buddhists, among the Sangha, there was at least one case of Samanera, a novice, male novice, who actually raped a bhikkhuni. So then we have the next rule, which says that when the men joining the order, if they had raped bhikkhunis before, they cannot be ordained. So you see that safety of bhikkhunis is very important. And this second rule, I think it is very appropriate that the Buddha actually see for the safety of the bhikkhunis, that wherever they stay, they should have in the same residence. Same residence does not mean the same house, not the same building, but in the same compound, in the same avasa. At least that you could see the monks in a distance, that you can call for help, so to say. But in modern society, I have traveled to Sri Lanka, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and including Thailand. The bhikkhunis always have a separate residence. Why? Does it mean that these bhikkhunis are not respecting this second rule, that they should have residence in the same area with the monks? Looking for safety. In these modern days, we do have safety. The bhikkhunis have safety. We have wall, we have communication, much more different from the Buddha's time. Therefore, make sure that wherever we stay, we have to stay in residence which is safe for us. The main concern is safety. So the bhikkhuni should stay in a safe place, with or without residence of the monks. But now in this modern time, sometimes staying too close to the monks is also not very good. I would like also to add, this is very interesting finding. In just only last 2 years, just before COVID, we have heard of this discovery, archaeological discovery, that they have found residence of Bhikkhunis, Bhikkhuni Arama, some place near Nalanda. I tried to go there, but I could not get back in the same day, so I had to give up the idea. But I talked to the professor who actually was excavating that area. He reported that he discovered an arama of the Bhikkhuni very clearly different from the Bhikkhu arama, because the setting the setting of the arama is with much more for safety reason. For safety reason, they would have certain doors, they would have certain entrance, not open avasa like the monks, not. This is in very close to Nalanda area, and he dated that this Bhikkhuni Arama was in 12th century. That is very late, we talk about the disappearance of the Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis in India. 12th century is the latest. So we could say that with this discovery, it is proof that the Bhikkhunis were still in existence in India even up to 12th century. 12th century. What I remembered very clearly, the bed of the Bhikkhuni was in blue color, turquoise blue, very beautiful. I'm afraid that once when it is opened, it is open to the air, they will soon lose the original color, which was preserved by this, how the soil, how the sand covered it up, So this is another proof that the residence of the Bhikkhunis were built with much more safety concern than the Bhikkhus, and this is as late as 12th century AD. Yes. Then we come to the third Garudama. The third Garudama says that every half month, Bhikkhunis should ask for the date of observance and receive ovada from the Bhikkhus. This is still practiced in our temple. We also practice this. Before the Bhikkhunis recite the Patimokha, we are supposed to invite a monk, a senior monk, to give us ovada. Ovada is instruction, exhortation. There are 10 qualities. This monk who can come and teach us must have 10 qualities, and the last one is to have 20 years seniority as a monk, well versed. He himself is well versed in both the Patimokha. He must know what the Bhikkhus and the Bhikkhunis follow, otherwise he will not be able to teach. He must be well versed in Dharma Vinaya, and we are so happy. We are so lucky that we do have a senior monk. We usually go to him, but because we don't have transportation, so we could go maybe 3 Bhikkhunis only. But later on he said that if his teaching is useful for the Bhikkhunis, he offered to come. So every full moon and dark moon, we do have senior monk to come and teach us. Of course, in Thailand, as you know, that the Bhikkhunis are not yet officially recognized. So he came with the permission from the provincial chief, the Bhikkhu who is the most senior and appointed as provincial chief of this particular province. He came with the permission of the provincial chief. So we do get ovada from the senior Bhikkhuni. And why do we have to ask? Why do the Bhikkhunis have to ask for the date of observance? Imagine those days. We don't have calendar. So, whether it is dark moon or full moon, whether it is 15th day of the full moon, they have to look at the moon, and they may not follow the same day. So the Bhikkhunis have to go and ask the Bhikkhus, whether this is the observance day, this is really full moon, whether today full moon or tomorrow full moon, like that. They have to check with the Bhikkhus so that they perform on the same day. And when we recite the Patimokha, the Bhikkhus, on the Bhikkhu side, the Bhikkhus have 9 duties to do in preparation before they start reciting their own Patimok, and one of them is whether they have given Ovada to Bhikkhunis. So now that the Bhikkhus, now that in Thailand they do not recognize the Bhikkhunis, so the Bhikkhus, the Thai Bhikkhus, are not doing all these 9 duties. They can do only 8 preparation for before they recite their own Patimok. If they want to complete 9 preparation, they have to accept Bhikkhunis. They have to come and give Ovada. Because when they go back to recite their own Patimok, they have to recite also as their preparation that they have completed. They have given Ovada to the Bhikkhunis. But now in Thailand, they would recite that there are no more Bhikkhunis, therefore they did not give Ovada to Bhikkhunis. Now number 4, come back to Garudama number 4. After the rain, the Bhikkhuni should pavarana. Pavarana is to invite both the Sanghas, both the Bhikkhuni Sangha as well as the Bhikkhu Sangha. What they have heard, what they have seen, what they have suspected of that particular Bhikkhu or Bhikkhuni. You have to understand the setting like this, These monks, these Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, they come together to stay together during the Vasa, during the rain. And then after that they will disperse, they will go different direction. If one of them feel may have some wrong understanding, which is negative, suspecting that one is doing something wrong like that. So suppose when they, after the rain, all of them disperse, she or he would go away with that bad feeling, bad imprint about that monk, about that Bhikkhuni. So this pavarana, to invite, they come together and invite whatever you have seen, whatever you have heard, what you might have suspected of me, please ask. Please ask. This is very good practice. I think it can be applied even to our society, because it is no good, to think about somebody in a negative way and go away carrying that negative imprint. This is a time to allow the Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis to speak out whatever you have in your mind. I just give you an example. Suppose if I see this Bhikkhu, she was taking a bite, a bite of food in the evening. So I felt very bad about her, that she is not keeping the rule properly. She is not supposed to be eating after midday. She was eating something. So at this time, I asked her, on that day, I saw you putting this biscuit in your mouth. Then that Bhikkhuni will say, that is true, Venerable. I did put biscuit in my mouth because I want to break it into pieces, to 2 pieces, to give it to the dog. So you see, that person, this Bhikkhuni thought negative about her, but that person now can tell the truth. What is it? So that this Bhikkhuni who had negative idea about that Bhikkhuni, in that case, you have not broken the precept. That's well and good. And that Bhikkhuni also had an opportunity to clarify herself. So pavarana is very good. Something I feel is very good that we do have that. So for the bhikkhus, they have pavarana. They have this invite among the bhikkhus, bhikkhu sangha. But for the bhikkhunis, we invite here. This is how we practice. Each one of us invite, starting from the senior, invite the rest of the community. Whatever you have suspected of me, you have heard, you have seen that you would like to ask me, please do. We go individually like that. And then in the afternoon, then we go to the Bhikkhu Sangha, and together we recite together. If on the Bhikkhu side, if they have anything that they would like to ask us, so that we can clarify ourselves. So this is practice, and I think I would like to encourage that it should be applicable even in a work unit. When you work together, there's always some bad feeling we feel about somebody. At least allow the person to clarify herself. Number 5, when a bhikkhuni offending or transgressing against important rules, then she must undergo manat. Manatta discipline for half a month before both orders. Here when we have done something wrong, of course, if we have done something wrong against the Parajika, then we are no more Bhikkhu or Bhikkhuni, we are dead. We are dead from the ordination out. Whether or not you're still wearing the robe, you are no more a Bhikkhu or Bhikkhuni. So we are not talking about that. We are talking about the transgressing of the rule, important rules, but not the Parajika. Then we have to go through this discipline. In Thailand now, we have certain temples that they organize as parivasa. They call it parivasa. And the monks who thought that they might be impure, through the year, so they would go and attend parivasa. During parivasa, they have to live separately from the Sangha. And even if they are senior ones, the junior one will not pay respect to him, and formally he has to make announcement that he is now going through parivasa, meaning that this is a time that he is having what you call self purification, meaning that he might have done something that is not proper as a monk. So this is a time when junior one will not pay respect to him. And after that, after half a month, then this is a big ceremony. They will have at least 20 monks to come together and recite. It is like kind of acceptance, accepting this monk back into the Sangha. This is called Appan. Appan needs at least 20 bhikkhus. Very interesting when you think of building a construction of Ubosatha. This Ubosatha that you are building, the smallest one must be able to accommodate at least 21 bhikkhus or 21 bhikkhunis, because of this Appan, because of this particular monastic practice, because they have to sit 20 of them have to sit comfortably, not too close, not too tight together, and then the one who actually had transgressed will come and ask for the Sangha to accept them back. So at least the space must allow at least 21 monks sitting. So this is the smallest Uposatha that you would like to, you can plan for the construction because of this Appan. So far the Bhikkhunis, so far that I know, the Bhikkhunis in Thailand, we have not done Appan. And I always tell them that please don't transgress these important rules, because then we have to go through this and we do not have yet 20 bhikkhunis, to accept you back to the Sangha. That was at the beginning of the formation of the bhikkhunis. We don't even have enough number to form a Sangha. That's why we have to be traveling to Indonesia, to Vietnam, to Sri Lanka, so that we can live in a Sangha community. Yes, number 6, the bhikkhuni must arrange for sikhamana. This is very important. Sikhamana, at the time when the Buddha gave permission for Mahāpajāpatī to be ordained, there was no sikhamana yet. But yet, this number 6 already talks about sikhamana. So this is the academics proof that this is later. This Garudama came later, because at the time of giving ordination to Mahāpajāpatī, there were no bhikkhuni, there were no sikhamana yet. This rule deals about the bhikkhunis having students, having disciples under her, and when the sikhamana has completed the study of the six anudharma and has completed 2 vasas, the bhikkhuni teacher must arrange for the sikhamana to come seek both sanghas, seek both bhikkhu sangha, bhikkhuni sangha and bhikkhu sangha for ordination. Not ordination by 2 sanghas, but seek both sanghas, so that the bhikkhuni sangha can help do the purification for the candidate, and the bhikkhu sangha will give upasampada. This is the understanding. Number 7, Number 7, the bhikkhunis should not abuse, should not revile, should not scold the bhikkhu. Of course, in reality, the Buddha meant that the bhikkhus who were at least 5 years senior to the bhikkhunis, he was expecting the bhikkhus to be teaching the bhikkhunis. So if the bhikkhuni themselves start abusing, start scolding the bhikkhus, how can the Buddha find any bhikkhus to teach the bhikkhunis? It is not easy. It is not easy. And of course, the bhikkhus who can teach the bhikkhunis, it is not just any one bhikkhu can teach bhikkhunis. They must be appointed, they must have certain qualities. So particularly the queen, the Queen Mahāpajāpatī, when she was ordained, she was in highest position now in her own status. When definitely when she saw these monks, maybe the junior monks or maybe the monks of lower caste. Of course, in Buddhism we don't have caste system, but nevertheless, these monks might have come from lower caste and they may be doing something not appropriate to the Sangha life. Definitely the queen will be teaching them, will be scolding them. So the Buddha did not permit the bhikkhunis to do this. In fact, he was saving his own mother from the trouble, from the responsibilities of having to teach the monks. I think this is appropriate. Taking the reality that 8th Garudama was first given to the Queen Mahāpajāpatī. Yes, and the Queen Mahāpajāpatī took it as her ordination. Yes, so we have to really understand that. Now, last one, number 8. Number 8 says, from today onward. In Pali it says achatake. From today onward, admonition of bhikkhus by the bhikkhunis is forbidden. What does it mean, this achatake? What does it imply? Achatake, from today onward, it means that before that, the bhikkhunis were teaching the monks also. Yes, and of course we do have cases when we find that by the teaching of the bhikkhuni, actually the bhikkhu became enlightened. The bhikkhu became enlightened by the teaching of the bhikkhuni, but for some reason, due to social norm, due to seniority in the Sangha, the Buddha, the 8th Garudama says that from now on, the admonition of the bhikkhus by bhikkhunis is not allowed. So now, last but not the least, I would like to mention this, that we always translate that in the 8th Garudama that it is heavy rule, it is important rule, but in reality, please read also that there is a great research by Venerable Analayo, a German monk. He's now teaching in Hamburg University in Germany. He had done a great deal of study on this, and he has written a book to answer this, that it is not heavy rule and it is not important rules, because at least three of them among the 8 Garudama that I read to you, at least 3 of them are found in the Pacittiya. Pacittiya is minor rules, in the section of minor rules for the bhikkhunis. So at the end, each rule always say that the bhikkhunis have to take it for life. When we recite this 8th Garudama, each rule will repeat, emphasize that this is what the bhikkhunis have to take it for lifelong. I also have another point to share with you, that the Tripitaka as it is was written down at least 450 years after the Buddha's passing away. So, at the time when the Buddha passed away, 3 months after that, we have this the first council. The first council is when the 500 monks came together and they agreed upon, this is a teaching of the Buddha, and because they have agreed upon, then they recite it together. Sankhayana means recite together, the first council. Sankhayana, so they recite together, 500 of them recite together, and it was proposed towards the end. It was proposed by Mahāpajāpatī, who was the most senior and who was the one who called upon this meeting. He proposed that we will keep the teaching of the Buddha intact like this, nothing new added, no removal of the teaching. So this was agreed, and it has become the attitude of the Theravada to always keep everything as it is. In reality, we will see that in reality it is not so. But the Tripitaka as a text was not written down. This agreement passed on from teachers to disciples through memory, and it is not written down until at least 450 years afterwards, not in India but in Sri Lanka. So that's how we get our Tripitaka. Tripitaka means the three baskets, the Vinaya, Sutta and Abhidhamma. This writing down of our text came 450 years after. But that will be another issue. I would like to finish my talk here with how I try to understand the 8 Garudamas. And we here at our temple, Songtham Kalyani Temple, Phikuri Arama in Thailand, we still respect the 8 Garudama, and we recite Mahāpajāpatī Wattu, Gotamī Wattu, every week just before the Buddhist day. We still do that so that we remember the story, and we keep in touch the lineage of the Bhikkhuni as of old. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Venerable Dhammananda Theri, for such a wonderful explanation. And I think a lot of people have a lot of different kinds of opinion and views in terms of Garudama. And because sometimes when they look at it just on words, and with a wrong context, then people can misinterpret and also can have a wrong view about it. But I think today Venerable has very clearly explained each and every one of it. And I think the practice for the Garudama, of course, is guidance and principles of reverence for the Sangha to live in harmony, to support each other, so that the Buddha Sasana can continue to grow. So, Venerable, we have 2 questions. Maybe the question may have been said or answered in the topic, but I will just read out. Maybe there's any additional things or additional point that it can add on. So question number 1 is this. It said, one of the 8 Garudama is reproduced. A nun who has been ordained even for 100 years must greet respectfully, rise up from her seat, salute with joint palms, do proper homage to a monk ordained but that day. The question is, it said, various researchers stated that this statement is contextual and has been changed several times after that. Would the Venerable kindly explain such condition? Thank you.
We have been discussing about this for a long time. We have to read further that in the Buddha's time, whether the bhikkhunis themselves, when they meet the monks, they always pay respect. But in one particular case, the monks were, drawing attention by pulling up their robe, to show their thigh to the bhikkhunis. And the bhikkhunis were wondering whether they should still pay respect to these monks. So they went to the Buddha, and the Buddha said, in that case, you don't have to pay respect. to the monks. So this is a kind of footnote, like when you read the law, there is always footnote. Pay respect to the monk. I mean, if you meet the monks, you do not know him, pay respect. Pay respect to them. But if you know for sure that this monk is not a good monk, he has not been practicing well, he has transgressed, maybe parajika even, in that case, you don't have to pay respect. The Buddha allowed that you don't have to pay respect if the monk is not worth of respect. Yes, and of course, it has always been questioned whether some of these rules are actually interpolation. Whether or not it is interpolation, because it is a set of 8 Garudama. I personally, I have respect, and we still do the recitation, and we follow as close as we can, understanding the text, understanding the spirit of the rules, not only the rules by words, but also by spirit.
Thank you, Venerable, for your insightful answer. And I think the next question is asked, a nun must not spend the rains, Vasa 3 months rainy season retreat in a residence where there are no monks. The question, in fact, bhikkhunis are able to perform pavarana by themselves. Again, by this revealing condition, is Garudama actually not a universal teaching of Buddha rather than contextual regulation due to the first ordination of the most respectful Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī?
Yes, I personally thought that maybe it is directly an issue with the queen, but nevertheless, because we are in Theravada tradition, so we try to follow our tradition. If this is what the text says, we try to understand through the spirit of the rules, and we try to follow as close as possible.
Thank you, Venerable. So far, there's only 2 questions. Is there anything that probably maybe Venerable can also highlight that the ordination of the bhikkhuni in terms of the Garudama for Venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, and also the 500 nuns, the bhikkhuni, which are ordained by the monks.
Yes.
So,
yes, very important point, because the 500 ladies who followed Mahāpajāpatī even questioned whether she was ordained, because she was not with them. They received ordination from the bhikkhus. This is the first allowance in Julavaka. The Buddha allowed the bhikkhus to give ordination to the bhikkhunis, and this allowance is never lifted up, which means it is still active. And so whenever Ananda also had to go back to ask the Buddha whether Mahāpajāpatī was ordained, because the 500 ladies were ordained by the bhikkhus. And the Buddha confirmed again that yes, Mahāpajāpatī received ordination by receiving the 8 Garudama. So, when you actually study the history of ordination for the bhikkhunis, you will see that taking Garudama was also one kind of ordination, but I would preserve it for Mahāpajāpatī, given by the Buddha himself. And later on, we receive our Upasambhada from the Bhikkhu Sangha, with the Bhikkhuni Sangha coming in to help with answering the questions of the 24 Antarayika Dhamma. The Bhikkhuni Sangha came in later to help purify the candidate, but the candidate herself will be receiving ordination from the Bhikkhu Sangha. This is my understanding and my practice in our temple.
Thank you, Venerable. So it means that from the very initiative of the beginning of Bhikkhuni Sangha, and with the 8 Garudamas, which is still applicable and can be practiced, and also with the Chulagavaga allowance of from the Buddha, for the ordination of the bhikkhunis. So we can see clearly that the path of this higher ordination for bhikkhunis is not an issue at all. And
yes.
Yeah. So I think with also the revival of the bhikkhuni in this 20th century, which is already 25 years,
Yes.
we can see that the ordination has continued to grow, and also the numbers of bhikkhunis are also growing, and the temples for the bhikkhuni are coming up, and there are also bhikkhus who are also supporting the revival, just like Bante P. Sivali Terose. You know, indeed is a kind of a great tribute to the development of the glory of the past, that we should continue to bring forth this bhikkhuni order for the well-being of the sasana, and also for the well-being of the people at large.
Yes. In my another talk, I will be giving a talk with the IBC, International Buddhist Confederation in India on 4th of March. I will be speaking on the bhikkhunis issue, same time like this, you know, but it is organized by IBC. That is another venue. But I think it's very important for us at the beginning that we have to be supportive. And we have really, for the last 2 decades, you know, that Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand, of course, with Sri Lanka, we have been very much together, and with the understanding that in spite of the fact that we are reviving, we are still trying to be as close as possible to the original text. In my case, you know, after full ordination, I was supposed to stay with my teacher for 2 vasas. But at that time, my mother was 95. I could not leave her. I could not leave the temple. So what I did, I actually invited my Pawatini from Sri Lanka. She came all the way to stay with me for the whole Vasa. And that was for my very first year of ordination. And Venerable Santini, I think Venerable Santini also joined us. And then I told my teacher that I needed to be trained to recite the Patimokh. Then she told me that in that case, you need to have at least 5 bhikkhunis, you know. So that was the time when we have bhikkhunis from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from Sri Lanka join us, so that we can form a sangha to study under the same teacher. And this happened for the first 2 vasas, according to the Vinaya, how I invited my teacher, and how we, the very early bhikkhunis, you know, benefit studying together under the same teacher. I think this was a beautiful part of our history, how we really understand our own fragile situation when we started the Sangha in the beginning, and how it was very important for us to stay united. And I was so happy to be part of this United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International, and to see that our laymen and laywomen, our fourfold Buddhist communities, we are very much together. I can see from the attendance of this conference itself.
Thank you so much, Venerable Dhammananda Theri. I think it's a very beautiful conversation today to share with even the bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, samanera, samaneris, upasaka and upasikas, and friends of Dhamma, to have the kind of right perspective about the Dhamma and the Vinaya in terms of how the Sangha development is being progressing, and how they keep up the Dhamma Vinaya for good practice for their development, and also how they can inspire the people towards the Buddha's teaching, and also for good practice. So thank you very much for the talk, and also answering the question. And I believe that all of us have more insight into this, and will have more right understanding and right view about the ordination of bhikkhuni, and how the Mahatheras can compassionately continue to give the ordination and support, so that the fourfold Sangha can continue to thrive strongly, and also to benefit more and more people, and especially in our condition today, where internet has become such a wonderful platform. There are things that are changing in terms of getting knowledge, in terms of practice, and I think the Sangha should be a great role model for the Buddha Sasana to go further, for a longer period, and for that confidence of a life that is led in a fruitful way and until Nibbana is attained. So thank you so much for this today's talk. I think maybe is also indeed timely for the topic, this topic to come first before the other topic. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think everything happened for a reason. Yeah. So Venerable now allow us also to today to commemorate, and our also consider, the mother of Bhikkhuni in India, who has just passed away in 7th February. And today we have Venerable Dhammanina from India, from Nagpur, to also give eulogy to the late Venerable Visakha Mahāteri. So maybe invite Venerable Dhammadina, and for the technical team, may you please put the slide in commemoration of the late Venerable Visakha Mahāteri. So let us compose our mind, and Venerable Bhikkhuni Sakya Dhammadina.
Yeah.
Can you share with us your eulogy in commemoration and with profound respect to Venerable Bhikkhuni Visakha Mahāteri?
Yeah. One second. Okay. Thank you for inviting me, Venerable Sumangala, and I would like to pay my respect to all the venerables present here, and much metta and blessings to all the Upasaka and Upasikas here. I am Bhikkhuni Sakya Dhammadina from India, and as I listened yesterday about Visakha Mahāteri, she was from Nagpur, and most of the time I stay in Nagpur, and I got the opportunity to meet her in the past also. Since last 2 years, I'm continuously meeting her. I went to her, and I just want to share some qualities of her, some eulogy about her, which I felt when I met her. So like it was like 2.5 years ago, Venerable Tathaloka, she told me that if you are in Nagpur, you should go and meet Venerable Visakha Mahāteri. She is the first Bhikkhuni. I knew it before also that she is the first Bhikkhuni, and when I first met her, I met her and I pay respect to her, and I came to know that her voice was so strong. She was so strong, and when I was talking to her for the first time, I was like scared in talking to her because her voice was so strong. Even she was in her 90s, but her voice was so strong. And when I started talking to her, she was really kind-hearted, and I asked her about her past also. Like when we talk about Venerable Mahāpajāpatī, she was the first Bhikkhuni, and how did she start? Same as I asked the question about the Visakha, Venerable Visakha Mahāteri, that how did she start? How did she think about renouncing the world and take the ordination in 1964? And she told me that she was inspired by Bhante. She was a disciple of a Bhante in Yavatmal district of Maharashtra. And later she took higher ordination in 1998 in Bodh Gaya, and it was not easy for her. When I started talking to her and I came to know about her life, and then I connected her voice with her life struggle. Because if a lady alone, she had gone through a lot. She struggled a lot for the Bhikkhuni Sasana in India, Theravada Bhikkhuni Sasana in India. She was like the second Mahāpajāpatī for us. And because of her struggle, her voice was so strong, and she was so strong. And the next thing, the second thing which I connected with Mahāpajāpatī to Visakha Mahatheri was when we read about the Mahāpajāpatī, we come to know that she got Parinibbāna at the age of 120. And at the age of 120, Mahāpajāpatī used to look very beautiful. She did not have any wrinkles on her face, and her teeth were still look like a 16-year-old girl, as I read about the Mahāpajāpatī. When I met Visakha her teeth, even in her 90s, her teeth were also very strong, and most of the teeth were fine. Like she did not have any rotten or any artificial teeth. So this is the second thing which I compare, or which I match with the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī. So at the last moment when I met her and I made offerings to her, she told the other IA Vinay Sila, where she was taking care of IA Visakha Mahatheri, and she told her, invite Dhammadina for lunch someday. And she told me to invite for the lunch, and they invited me for the lunch. And when I came to know that she was not having her food because of her illness, she was not having food from last many days. She was taking only liquids. But the day when I went for the lunch to their vihara, and I asked her, Aye, do you want to eat something? Just eat something for me. And she said, okay, I will have rice and the pulses. And she took the rice and pulses, and she ate it. So it was nice meeting her. She was really strong. She inspired all the bhikkhunis, even me. I really got inspired from her, that she was the first bhikkhuni in the Theravada tradition in India. And as we know that India is a country where women are always discriminated, women are always underestimated, but she took the opportunity. She rose up, and she inspired all of us. So whenever I saw her, I always reminded of Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī. And at the last, when I was in the other state, and I came back to Nagpur on 6th of Feb. And on 7th of Feb in the morning, I got the news about demise. So I wanted to go there. I did not have my breakfast, and I went there. And when I went there, I saw her face, her teeth, just like Mahāpajāpatī at the last stage at her Parinibbāna. I reminded of her, and I even got the chance to wipe her body, to cover her body with the chivara at the last moment. And I also gave a shoulder to her dead body. So I got a chance to meet her, and she really inspired us. She was a strong lady, and we can know that if a lady is strong, if she has a strong voice, even in the 90s, it means she had gone through a lot of struggle in her life. And we are walking on the path she gave to us. I think even we, if somebody say to us, no, you cannot be a bhikkhuni like Mahāpajāpatī, but Mahāpajāpatī did not give up. And when Buddha did not accept her request, she did not give up. She followed Buddha. She took the robe, she took the chivara, and she wrapped her body, and she shaved her head, same as Ayya Visakha inspires us, that she even when there was no bhikkhuni, there was people don't allow bhikkhuni. Even now, some bhikkhu sangha, they don't accept bhikkhunis in India. So at her time, if she was not allowed to take ordination, she did not give up. She stood for the women, and she took ordination, and she gave us a path. So really her life was really interesting. And I asked her many questions. I was about to write a biography of her, but I came to know that some other bhikkhuni is already writing her biography in Hindi language, and I decided to write her biography, translate her biography in English. So we are waiting for her biography to be ready in Hindi language, and then I will translate it so that everyone in the world will come to know about the struggle of Venerable Visakha Mahatheri, and the first Theravada Indian bhikkhuni in modern India. So I would like to stop my word, and because I just came from the chanting, and that's why I just heard my name announced. So I don't have much to say, and all of you, especially Venerable Sumangala, I requested her and she gave me the time. So thank you all of you. Thank you Venerable Dhammananda from Thailand, and you gave a wonderful speech about the Mahāpajāpatī. You gave us the knowledge about the Mahāpajāpati's life. I pay anumodana to all of you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we are here united and in commemoration, yeah, of our past leaders and Bhikkhuni leaders. I think we are very grateful to all of them for taking the lead to make this glory come back to the women folk, and also for them to be able, yeah, to follow the Buddha's path as close as possible, and also in making this revival of Bhikkhuni ordination and Bhikkhuni Sangha a reality. And indeed, again and again, we like to also remember we are already 25 years into the journey. And I think probably this is a time where we are looking at the progress and also the continuous development of this Sangha and also for the Sasana. So we thank Venerable Dhammadina for kindly share the journey with the late Venerable Visakha Mahatheri. And I think even by a short sharing, I think all of us will be inspired. The women folk struggle, but that struggle is not a negative word, That struggle is for peace, for enlightenment. So I think it's worth striving, and for the ultimate goal of liberation. So indeed, I always tell people when they say strive, people say strive hard. I always tell them, strive heedfully and strive happily. So thank you so much for your sharing, and we will always remember all our four mothers who have strived for us, and our gratitude to all of them. And may all the merits that we gather through all our good deeds, all our good practice, and also in this United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha Dharma program, be a cause for everyone's well-being and Nibbana one day. So we would like now to invite Venerable Dhammananda Terry to give us all the blessings to the assembly, and also the share merits of today's program. May Venerable Dhammananda Terry, please.
Bhavatu sappa mangalam rakantu sappa devata sappa bhutanupavena sappa dhammanupavena sappa sankhanupavena sada swati bhavantu te. May you all be blessed with the blessing of the Buddha, of the Dharma, and of the Sangha. May you all be happy, strong, and of course, all of you should be free from COVID-19.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we have come to a close for this program, but we are also glad to still share with you all. Tomorrow, we have our next Dharma program at the same time, IST, in the India Standard Time, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And then in Malaysia is 8 to 10 p.m. And tomorrow, we will announce the speaker for tomorrow. And it's for us to follow up and to come and rejoice again And but definitely the Dharma program is on, yeah, and maybe for you to find out. But tomorrow, if we are able, then Venerable Bhikkhuni Rupa will be speaking, and if it's not, then another Venerable will be speaking, and we are all united whole, yeah. So we can also attend to anicca very quickly, and also to rejoice, yeah, with all this support and ability. And may the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International continue to grow for the well-being, for the happiness, and for the benefit of the many. So we will first like to show you also again the topic that will come, and from our inner core of our hearts, reflecting that how everyone has strived peacefully, practice and develop yourself mindfully towards the realization of noble path, and to contribute to the Buddha Sasana, the community, the country, and to humanity. So we thank all the Mahatheras, all the Mahatheris, and all the Venerable Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, Upasaka and Upasikas, and friends for coming today to join us in this inaugural day in commemoration of the late Venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahatheri's Parinibbāna Day. May we all be inspired to also learn happily and to strive heedfully, and all the qualities that we have learned from yesterday and today, the aspiration, the noble aspiration that we make, and also the initiative, the determination, the persistency, and of course, the importance of the practice and the realization. So our heartfelt thanks to all Dhamma speakers and all who have joined us, to Venerable Santini Mahatheri, to Venerable Dhammananda Peri, and also to Bhikkhuni Dhammadina, and to all our participants and audience who have been there with from the beginning until now. So we thank you so much for your attention, and we hope that this also will inspire you to walk the noble path heedfully. So before we end, we'd like to also highlight that after the video loop about the program, we will also like to invite Mr. Rajesh Chandra to translate the gist of the talk, yeah, into Hindi language for the benefit of all our India Dhamma brothers and sisters. So maybe now look at the video for the coming Dhamma programs, and then after that, the translation. Please unmute.
नमो बुद्धाय, नमो धम्माय, नमो संघाय, नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्स। तीजो 7 दिवसीय कार्यक्रम यूनाइटेड भिक्षुणी संघ इंटरनेशनल, थेरवादा भिक्षुणी संघ इंटरनेशनल के द्वारा आयोजित किया जा रहा है। ये एक बड़ी पावन घटना से संबंधित करके इसको जोड़ा गया है। महाप्रजापति गौतमी, माता महाप्रजापति गौतमी जब भगवान की इस विस्मयकारी, स्तब्धकारी घोषणा को सुनती हैं कि भगवान 3 महीने के बाद महापरिनिर्वाण को उपलब्ध हो जाएंगे, तो माता महाप्रजापति गौतमी ऐसा निर्णय लेती हैं कि ये धरती, ये भूमि बुद्ध विहीन हो, इससे पहले हमें ही निर्वाण को प्राप्त होना चाहिए, हमें ही शरीर को त्याग देना चाहिए। वो भगवान से आशीर्वाद लेती हैं, आशीर्वाद लेकर उनसे अनुमति लेती हैं और माघी पूर्णिमा के दिन भगवान से अनुमति लेकर अपनी 500 भिक्षुणी संघ को माता प्रजापति गौतमी 1 सप्ताह तक अनवरत 7 दिनों तक धम्म देशना देती हैं। 7 दिनों तक धम्म देशना देने के बाद आने वाली अष्टमी को, जो कि उपासकों के लिए, उपासिकाओं के लिए, भिक्षुओं के लिए, भिक्षुणियों के लिए उपोषित की तिथि होती है, उस दिन महाप्रजापति गौतमी निर्वाण को उपलब्ध होती है। वो 7 दिनों की धम्म देशना के उपलक्ष्य में यूनाइटेड थेरवादा भिक्षुणी संघ इंटरनेशनल के द्वारा ये ऑनलाइन धम्म देशना का अनूठा आयोजन किया गया है। बहुत अनंत आभार है कि भारत के उपासकों और उपासिकाओं के लिए आपने कार्यक्रम में संक्षेप में अनुवाद की अनुमति दी है, ताकि भारतीय उपासक और उपासिकाएं भी लाभान्वित हो सकें। कल की देशना में हमने जो भिक्षु पी शिवली थेरो जी का और भिक्षु श्री शरणंकर जी का और भिक्षुनी सुदर्शन महाथेरी जी का प्रवचन सुना था। आज की धम्म देशना पूज्य भिक्षुनी धम्मानंदा जी, जो कि थाईलैंड से हैं, और उन्होंने 8 गुरु धर्मों पर अद्भुत देशना दी है। ये 8 गुरु धर्म वो हैं, जैसा कि भिक्षुनी धम्मानंदा जी ने बहुत विस्तार से इस बात का विवरण दिया है कि जब महाराज सुदोधन का निधन हो गया था और भगवान गए थे, उस समय विधवा माता प्रजापति गौतमी ने ऐसा निवेदन किया था कि हम भिक्षुनियों को भी आप दीक्षा दे दीजिए, संघ में शामिल कर लीजिए। तो भगवान ने बड़ी विनम्रता से, मधुरता से कहा था, प्रजापति ये निवेदन, ये प्रार्थना मत कीजिए, भिक्षु जीवन आसान नहीं है। ऐसा माता ने 3 बार कहा और 3 बार भगवान ने उनको इनकार कर दिया। अंततः जब भगवान वैशाली के चैपाल चैत्य में ऐसी घोषणा करते हैं कि 3 महीने के बाद महापरिनिर्वाण को उपलब्ध होंगे, माता प्रजापति गौतमी 500 उपासिकाओं के साथ कपिल वस्तु से वैशाली तक की यात्रा करती। कपिल वस्तु से वैशाली तक की यात्रा, जैसा कि अभी पूज्य भिक्षुनी धम्मानंदा जी बता रही थी कि आज की तारीख में भी कपिल वस्तु से वैशाली तक की बस से या ट्रेन से यात्रा कई घंटों की यात्रा है। और वो यात्रा कपिल वस्तु से वैशाली तक माता प्रजापति गौतमी ने उपासिकाओं के साथ, 500 उपासिकाओं के साथ, भगवान जहां विहार कर रहे थे वैशाली में, कूटागार में, वहां पहुंची और वहां पहुंचकर उन्होंने चीवर स्वयं धारण किया, अपने सारे बाल मुड़ा लिए, नंगे पैर हो गए और पहुंचकर भगवान से पुनः निवेदन किया कि हम सबको आप दीक्षा दीजिए। भगवान ने पहले की तरह ही उनको फिर से इनकार किया कि प्रजापति ये प्रार्थना मत करो, भिक्षु जीवन इतना आसान नहीं है, इतना आसान नहीं है। ऐसा 3 बार मना किया। अंततः सारी भिक्षुनियों ने प्रजापति गौतमी के नेतृत्व में आनंद से निवेदन किया। आनंद ने उनकी बात सुनी तो भगवान से जाकर इस बात की प्रार्थना किया कि भगवान क्या उपासिकाएं अर्हत नहीं हो सकती, वो संबोधि नहीं पा सकती? तो भगवान ने कहा पा सकती हैं आनंद, मेरी बात को अन्यथा मत लो। मैं सिर्फ कुछ अन्यथा और व्यवहारिक कारणों से भिक्षुनियों की उपसंपदा को इनकार कर रहा हूं। लेकिन लगातार उपासिकाओं की तरफ से आनंद की पैरवी पर भगवान ने भिक्षुनी संघ निर्मित करने के लिए अनुमति दी। उसके साथ में 8 गुरु धर्म दिए कि इन 8 बातों को यदि भिक्षुनी संघ मानने को तैयार है तो मैं भिक्षुनी संघ बनाने को तत्पर हूं। उन 8 गुरु धर्मों को, पहला गुरु धर्म है 100 वर्ष की भिक्षुनी एक दिन की, जो 100 वर्ष की भिक्षुनी होगी एक दिन की उपसंपदा पाए हुए भिक्षु के सामने नमन करे। 100 वर्ष की भिक्षुनी भी एक दिन की उपसंपदा पाए हुए भिक्षु से भी कनिष्ठ होगी, भिक्षु वरिष्ठ होगा। ये पहला गुरु धर्म है। दूसरा गुरु धर्म है कि भिक्षुनी भिक्षु विहार से दूर रहकर वर्षावास नहीं करेगी, भिक्षु विहारों के आसपास ही भिक्षुनी वर्षावास करेगी। अभी भिक्षुनी धम्मदीना जी ने इन सारे गुरु धर्मों की बड़ी ही प्यारी व्याख्या की है कि भगवान का सरोकार किसी प्रकार से स्त्रियों को, नारियों को हीन दर्शाना नहीं था, बल्कि उनकी सुरक्षा, ये उनका बड़ा सरोकार था कि वे सुरक्षित रह सकें। तीसरा भगवान ने गुरु धर्म दिया कि प्रत्येक पातिमोक्ष पर 15 दिन पर भिक्षुनी भिक्षु संघ से उपोषद की और धम्म देशना की याचना करेंगी। उनको उपोषद के लिए और देशना के लिए भिक्षु संघ से याचना करनी होगी। चौथा गुरु धर्म कि वर्षावास के उपरांत दोनों संघों के सम्मुख भिक्षुनी को प्रवारणा की प्रार्थना करनी होगी। प्रवारणा के 3 बिंदु होंगे, जो देखा गया है, जो सुना गया है, अथवा धम्म को लेकर मन में किसी प्रकार का संदेह है। इन 3 बातों के निवारण के लिए वे भिक्षु संघ से प्रार्थना करेंगी और दोनों संघों से। 5वां गुरु धर्म है कि विनय उल्लंघन पर दोनों संघों के सम्मुख क्षमा याचना और पश्चाताप करना होगा। यदि विनय उल्लंघन होता है तो भिक्षुनी धम्मदीना जी ने, भिक्षुनी धम्मानंद जी ने बहुत ही अच्छे से इसकी व्याख्या की है कि इसका तात्पर्य पराजिक नहीं है। पराजिक का मतलब भिक्षु जीवन छोड़ देना नहीं, भिक्षुनी जीवन छोड़ देना नहीं है, चीवर का त्याग देना नहीं है, बल्कि ये एक तरीके का पश्चाताप है। फिर जो छठा गुरु धर्म है कि 2 वर्षों तक 6 विनयों में परिपक्व होने पर ही उपसंपदा की प्राप्ति होगी। उपसंपदा भिक्षुनी को सामनेरी बनने के 2 वर्षों के बाद जब वे 6 विनय में परिपक्व होंगी तभी उनको उपसंपदा की प्राप्ति होगी। और 7वां गुरु धर्म भिक्षुनी कभी भी भिक्षु को ताड़ना, फटकारना, अपशब्दों का प्रयोग नहीं करेंगी। और 8वां कि आज से भिक्षुनी कभी भी भिक्षु को आदेश नहीं करेंगी, लेकिन भिक्षुओं के लिए आदेश के सारे रास्ते भिक्षुनियों के लिए खुले हुए हैं। इन 8 गुरु धर्मों की आज के संदर्भ में भिक्षुनी धम्मानंद जी ने बहुत ही प्यारी, अद्भुत, कंटेम्परेरी, सामयिक व्याख्या की है। और ये सभी के लिए जो आज इस कार्यक्रम को देख रहे हैं, इसमें सम्मिलित हो रहे हैं, उनके लिए गौरव की बात है। ये एक अनूठा प्रयास हुआ है और इस अनूठे प्रयास में आज जिन भिक्षुनी धम्मदीना जी को हम सुन रहे थे, वे थाईलैंड की वरिष्ठतम भिक्षुनियों में से एक हैं और ये भिक्षुनी संघ एक तरीके से पूरी दुनिया से लुप्त जैसा हो गया था। सन 1926 के बाद से भिक्षुनी संघ फिर से सक्रिय हुआ है, फिर से स्थापित हुआ है और कल पूज्य भंते पी शिवली थेरो जी ने, जो महाबोधि सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडिया के जनरल सेक्रेटरी हैं और संघ नायक हैं, उनके द्वारा भी बहुत ही आशीर्वाद प्रदान किया गया है इस भिक्षुनी संघ के लिए कि ये फले और फूले और फिर से स्थापित हो। उन्होंने इस विषय पर भी कहा कि जो 4 स्तंभ हैं, 4 पहिए हैं, भिक्षु संघ, भिक्षुनी संघ, उपासक संघ और उपासिका संघ, ये 4 धर्म के 4 पहिए हैं, 4 खंबे हैं जिनके सहारे धम्म खड़ा होता है। तो आज जो पूज्य भिक्षुनी धम्मानंद जी ने, जो कि थाईलैंड से हैं और उन्होंने 8 गुरु धर्मों पर प्रवचन दिया है, वो इतनी वरिष्ठ हैं, अभी 78 वर्ष की आयु में उनकी 100 से अधिक किताबें प्रकाशित हो चुकी हैं। वो मास्टर्स भी हैं, वो ग्रेजुएट भी हैं और वो पीएचडी भी हैं। इतने वरिष्ठ लोगों का प्रवचन सुनने का अवसर पाना, ये भारत के उपासकों के लिए, हिंदी भाषी उपासकों के लिए, मराठी भाषी उपासकों के लिए, उपासिकाओं के लिए बड़े ही गौरव का विषय है। हम उन सब का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करते हैं। और पूज्य भिक्षुनी सुमंगल जी बहुत ही अच्छा कार्यक्रम का संचालन कर रही हैं। बहुत ही शानदार तरीके से भिक्षुनियों को और सभी को आपस में जोड़कर, बीच में कभी कभी नेट की समस्या आ जाती है, वो समस्या कोई बड़ी नहीं है। वे बड़ी कुशलता के साथ कार्यक्रम की एंकरिंग संचालन कर रही हैं। हम भारत के सारे उपासक गण, उपासिकाएं उनका अभिनंदन करते हैं, उनका साधुवाद करते हैं। और अभी भारत में नागपुर में भारत की वरिष्ठतम भिक्षुनी विशाखा, उनका निधन हुआ था। उनके निधन की श्रद्धांजलि कल भी व्यक्त की गई और आज भारत से, नागपुर से पूज्य भिक्षुनी धम्मदीना जी ने उनके साथ अपने निजी सरोकारों और संस्मरणों को बड़े अच्छे भावुक लहजे में प्रस्तुत किया और यहाँ तक कहा कि वे भारत के लिए आधुनिक प्रजापति गौतमी जैसी थी। ऐसी महान भिक्षुनी के स्मरण में, उनसे प्रेरणा लेकर भारत में पुनः ये 4 स्तंभ पुनर्जीवित हो रहे हैं। ये हम सब के लिए बड़े गौरव की बात है। पूरे दुनिया ही, भारत में भी धम्म पुनरुत्थान को प्राप्त हो रहा है, धम्म की पुनर्स्थापना हो रही है। सभी लोगों को नमो बुद्धाय। साधु साधु साधु।
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh Chandra, for your kind translation for the benefit of our friends in India. So I think with that, we thank everyone again for staying with us all the time until now. And we wish all of you good health and happiness with the Dhamma. And we invite you to join us tomorrow for another fruitful session. And also for other sessions until 23rd. So may all be well, happy, and find peace. Thank you and good night.